And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Revelations 13:16-18. According to Revelations, the last book in the Bible describes the end days as a time of tribulation, natural disasters, and religious deception. It also says that people will be self-centered, disobedient, and ungodly. Most importantly, it says very clearly, without any doubt, no man will be able to predict it. With this uncertainty comes our inability to react to events, especially like this, if they do end up to be true. It's a thought experiment for sure to think about it, but has anyone ever done more than talk about it? This is what the analog horror series, Angel Engine, by the Unearthly Guy is about. In the very first video of the series, it shows a very cryptic, black, almost bird-like creature with eyes that change frequently. The creature reads aloud, "How to cage an angel." The entity then goes on to describe humans destroying their planet through extorting its resources, having wars, burning the wildlife, and killing each other. The entity then says humans will pray. It says this with extreme emphasis. Enough emphasis that it says it multiple times in a row. According to the entity, following this, an angel will appear. An angel sent to us from the heavens. An angel sent to us to save us from our own doing, to liberate us and make us whole once more. However, as we all know, we can't be okay with just that. The entity goes on to describe how we use the angel's powers for our own, and we trap the angel in what is called an angel engine. This engine, from the context clues later in the story, and from this video, is a source of power, an extreme generator on the level of which humanity has never seen. The entity continues on to say that we will siphon its powers and perform our own miracles. It doesn't specify what miracles it's talking about exactly. However, after this, we're able to return our planet back to its former destructive, capitalistic, greedy self before the wars, famines, fires, etc. happened. This video being the first in the series is horrifying. It's what got me truly into the series. The first video is described in a step-by-step walkthrough method, almost like the entity is trying to warn us, or worse, wants us to do it. My questions about this video are still left unanswered though. Why did this angel let us perform these heretical acts on it? Where is God? And where are the other angels? In the second video in the series, it starts off with a machine-like entity telling us how to find the angel engine, which was the angel we had previously trapped and abused. The machine tells us to first journey to the Holy Land, to look for the angel engine. Once we get there, we must search the desolate terrain for the great thorns. I wasn't able to figure out what the great thorns were, but needless to say, it must be a certain terrain in this Holy Land. The entity then says we must find the burial site and enter it. At this point, I was confused, especially when I first watched this, because the burial site doesn't sound right for an angel, especially for using it still for energy and power. So it begs the question, is this video in the future? Why did we throw away the angel? Did we throw away the angel? Regardless, the entity carries on, at least carries on to pause, and reveal that it is the angel we had trapped and abused. It repeats, "Look upon me, look upon me, look upon me." This reveal is horrifying. It shows how disfigured the angel is, and how we've essentially made it completely into a machine, and how we've stripped it of its divinity. The humans have thrown away the angel in a burial site for reasons not answered, and it leaves the question, why is it still chained here? Why did the humans abandon it? Just before the video ends, the entity asks you to free it, and if you choose to do that, it will reward you plentifully. This video answers one big question, and it's that we used the angel to the brink of destruction. We used it and stripped it of its divinity and threw it away in a site called the burial site. However, it opens more questions, such as, where is this Holy Land? What are the Great Thorns? And why did we throw away the angel engine? The third video in this series starts off with both the first entity and the angel engine, warning us about him. They tell us not to be deceived by him, that he isn't our friend, that he has no friends. They say he will come to Earth just to deceive us, to lead us astray. They tell us he will be here soon. Then they alternate saying, "Find me, find me, find me." This video is even more cryptic. If we look into Christian history and texts, there is one entity that would match the description of the thing they refer to as him. It's the Antichrist. Jesus in the Bible tells his disciples to watch out for a false prophet claiming to be him, claiming to be the second coming. For he's an entity meant to lead us astray, and that he is the man of sin and the son of perdition. If this is the case, and that he is the Antichrist, then would that mean the current humans are currently being led astray? Was the angel who was sent down to help us meant to protect us from him? Is that why he used the angel and destroyed him? I digress. The ending, though, is interesting because the two entities go back and forth saying the same thing. I believe these two entities are the same. However, there is a case they are different, but if they are different, then is one telling the truth and is one telling a lie? The fourth video opens up with what appears to be the angel after it first got put into the angel engine suit. A scientist who we can assume made the suit starts to talk about how revolutionary the technology is and how we could power our societies for millennia to come. During this, we see a man's head peek out from behind the door in the angel engine's room. Quickly, this scene cuts with TV static, and you see an emergency broadcast from the President of the United States. The broadcast is the President telling us we are on the edge of all-out nuclear war. He tells us our enemies are preparing the nuclear arsenals. However, he doesn't tell us who our enemies are. During all of this, the same entity from earlier in the angel engine's room appears behind the President in the broadcast. And simultaneously, the broadcast is being interrupted by a dark figure who pauses every few seconds to clue us in on what could be happening. During all the interruptions, the dark figure essentially tells us to listen to him, and that he isn't from Earth, and that our species will die, our cities will fall, our skies will burn. After watching this video, you need to use some assumptions to connect the dots. I believe he, in this context, is still the Antichrist, And I believe the blonde figure that appears in the Angel Engine's room and behind the president is the Antichrist. This is stemming from the fact it has a morbidly happy face during this, and the fact that it appears at the site where they deface the angel, and during the president's broadcast about nuclear war. This would make sense if the Antichrist had already implanted himself in our society by brainwashing or becoming the president, because after that, he could lead us into nuclear war to destroy the earth. And he could also lead us into defacing and trapping the angel. The dark figure interrupting the broadcast, I believe, is our angel that we abused. I believe this due to what he said in the beginning. He said, "Listen to me." That angel is the only one trying to warn us of what's to come. And he's the only other thing capable of performing an act like this. In the beginning of the 5th video, we are introduced to a student who received a bad grade on his test. He is worrying about his academic future, but quickly he is cut off and reassured by none other than the scientist who we saw earlier, the one that created the Angel Engine. Finally, we find out who the scientist is. The student addresses him as the world-renowned scientist and director of the Miracle Machine Initiative, Dr. Jeff Ernstman. Dr. Ernstman then tells the student he can have a great education even with bad grades. This is when the video becomes abundantly clear. This is a television ad. Dr. Ernstman then looks at the viewer and says, "To have this, you must go to angelengineinitiative.org and sign up to become a volunteer." The student is thrilled and exclaims he will sign up. Following is this, an ad that directs you to the website. Once the ad fades, the camera zooms out on the first entity you see in the video. And then you see Dr. Ernstman and another scientist. The other scientist says, "Ah, there goes another test subject." And Ernstman says, "Well, what can you do?" This video shows us the founder of the project that entrapped our angel. It shows how he panders to our society and ensnares people in his trap by promising them a bright future if they choose to volunteer for them. And after they do, they're vandalized like the angel and thrown out like trash. What's creepiest about this link is that it's a real link. You can actually go to that website and sign up. But what really gets me about this video is the fact he's not only doing testing on the angel, he's doing it on humans too. In the 6th video, we see the angel in the Angel Engine again. This time, in his step-by-step walkthrough method, he tells us about how to survive the Holy Land. He says to pack plenty of supplies, first and foremost. Following, he tells us not to let the forgotten find you. On the screen when he says that, though, there are giants looking for a boy who is exploring the Holy Lands. There are giants in the Bible, specifically ones which are forgotten. They're called Nephilim, children of fallen angels and human women. In the comments of this video, one commenter said the exact line of reasoning, and the creator liked it, so we're going to proceed with them as Nephilim. After we see the Nephilim, our angel says they do not take kindly to foreigners, warning us that they will kill us. Next, he tells us to not look at the sky, for our eyes will melt, for he is here. The angel tells us to cover our eyes and ears, and to not stop, because he will catch us if we do. Our angel tells us not to listen, for the deceiver cannot harm our souls, for he would not allow it. This video is probably the eeriest so far. Why would we have to survive in the Holy Land? What is the Holy Land? And why are the once forgotten children of the fallen angels back? What happened to the sky? And why is the Antichrist after us? These are all questions I wish I had answers to, but they don't even compare to the bigger questions. Like, why can't he harm our souls? Can he harm our physical bodies? Why won't God let him take our souls? This video shows us possibly the end of the world and what has happened. It also shows us whatever semblance of society we once had. It's gone. The world might have turned completely into the world described in Revelations in the Bible, which is why it's referred to as the Holy Land, and why we have to learn how to survive in it. This would also explain why the Nephilim are back, because they're forsaken creatures, not created by God, who work to lead us astray. Finally, this would also explain why the Antichrist is after us, and why we mustn't look at the skies. The world has been taken over, and his new task is to hunt us all down, until we give in to him or perish. In Revelations 13, it describes a world leader who will deceive the masses, demand worship, and persecute believers. This time is known as the Great Suffering. I believe this video takes place right at the end of that, where the Antichrist is marking those with his brand and killing and torturing those who are still loyal to God. The question is, when will it end? The 7th video in the series is clearly a poem and a message. It's extremely complex and cryptic. For those reasons, I'll play the entire video in full, so you can see it for yourself and come to your own interpretations of it.
Moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Don't look at what's in front of you. Moving up and down again. Men go mad with watching them. There's no discharge in the war. If your eyes drop, they will get the top of you. Moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Rise, but think of something different.
This video, I believe, is the angel recounting the story of how the Antichrist took over the world. He took it over through becoming the President of the United States, then harnessing the power of the angel, and then causing wars over it, or with it. This video gets progressively more intense, and I believe it's meant to. It's meant to emphasize either the angel's distress or the angel's frustration with the fact the humans are not listening to it. Either way, the video sets the message very clear. The Antichrist is winning. The Antichrist in the story has clearly won. The angel that came to help us in the beginning, after we started to eat ourselves from the inside out, became nothing more than fuel for the fire that is the Antichrist and his tasks and revelations. The Antichrist used the angel to start wars, take over the world, and attempt to assert some type of dominance over the divine. He used a man, a scientist just as deluded and corrupted spiritually and mentally, to build a machine that would deface and strip the angel of divinity. This would lead his plan into destroying the earth to be a success. Nearing the last video, it was obvious he had won. He is taking out the last stragglers who are loyal to God and converting them or ending them. Our angel, who can only feel sadness and helplessness, is left frustrated and defeated, bringing the fate of our world one step closer to the rapture. This series, so far, is one of the best I've ever come across in terms of analog horror. People criticize this series for the creator's use of AI. However, the AI-generated art adds depth to the mechanical and nature story, along with its patchy timeline. Most analog horror stories revolve around monsters or just basic Illuminati secret organization story types. However, this one offers us something new, something spiritual in nature. It offers us the ability to peek into a future where God has become so distant that his return has gotten closer, and where humanity has chosen to turn their back on him right before his return. The problem is, no man can predict the rapture.